Shirley Camp. Welcome to the Mrs. Wages canning video series. Today we're going to be making chunky applesauce. And to do that, we need a packet of Mrs. Wages spiced apple mix. We need sugar and apples and water. We've already prepared the apples. The apples were cut and chunked and placed with water in a saucepan, and they've been cooking for approximately 30 minutes or until they're soft. Use a potato masher to mash them to the consistency that you would like to have them. Apple varieties that you can use are apples. I use a mixture of apples like Delicious apples, Pink Lady, Jonathan, Fuji, anything that has a good flavor and will give you a good blend of mixtures. As always, when we're doing the Mrs. Wages mixes, make sure and follow the directions that you can find on the package of the apple spice mix. The apples are cooked and softened to a good consistency. We'll end up with 3 quarts of spiced apples. And to this, we're going to add 1 cup of sugar per quart of apple mixture. And we're going to add 1 pouch of Mrs. Wages apple spice mix. And we're going to mix this together. There are a number of things you can do with the apple spice mix or spiced apple mix. You can make the applesauce, you can make chunky apples, you can do peaches or other fruit. All you need to do is to mix it together. It's very simple. You know, you go to the store and buy applesauce. This is just a little bit better than the kind you buy in the store. Got a mixture of cinnamon and some other ingredients in the spiced apple mix. And we're going to heat it back up to a boil because we want it hot to go into the canner with the hot jars in the canner. And this is just a little bit chunky, not quite a smooth applesauce, but a chunky applesauce. We're going to put the apples, the cooked apples sauce, into quart jars. I like to use wide mouth jars. It just makes it easier to get the applesauce out of the jar. And if you have some small children around, this is a great thing for small children to have as a snack. Not too much sugar and not too much ingredients that we don't want them to have. So we're going to fill it to within 1/2 inch of the top. Want to leave room for expansion, so you need to make sure you've got a little bit of room left in the top of the jar. Use a clean paper towel to wipe the rim of the jar. And we want to use the jar lifter magnet to put the lids on the top of the jar. And add the rings so that they're just finger tight, not too tight. If you put the rings on too tight, you'll end up with V-shaped dents in the lid and they won't seal. So a note to the people out there, if you're having your husband help you with this, don't let him put the jar lids on too tight. The next thing in our process is to place the jars of apples into a canner. And lower them into the pan. And we need to have 1 inch of water over the tops of the jars. You can see that we don't have enough water on the jars, so we can always add more water to that. Our next step is to bring the water in the pan back to a boil and process for 20 minutes. At the end of the processing time, which we've done in a water bath canner, remove the jars to the cooling rack. Be very careful when you're doing this, using a jar lifter. Let the jars cool for 24 hours, check the seals to make sure the jars have sealed, and store them in a cool, dry place. For more recipes and tips on making spicy applesauce and other products, go to mrswages.com and enjoy your applesauce.